know, Bishop, you said sometimes people are married, but they're not married even though they're still together. But I think if you, and we're not talking about being in an abusive marriage where the man is beating the wife or the wife vice versa, and you going out. I'm talking about biblically keeping you together. And when I look at that, because you have people now, they justify themselves for divorcing for reasons that are not biblical. You know, and here we go again, talking about somebody said, well, we were not, I was abused emotionally. So I went and got into another marriage situation because I was abused. Now, my spouse never committed adultery or anything like that, but I was abused emotionally. So because of that, I divorced and got another husband. The first thing I want to know, where is that found? Where in the Bible does it tell you that you can... No. When you make a vow, especially as Christians, you made a vow, you know what you said, you know what you're doing. Right. If you get into that marriage, and that's why we tell you to count up the cost before you get into it. Now, you're going to have some difficulties. Every day is not going to be sunshine. But you need to make up your mind when you get into that marriage, forget the emotion, you better learn to have a stronger prayer life then. It's going to be some emotional turmoil. But that's called justification. If you get into that marriage and you make a vow, then you are supposed to keep that vow. I'm not saying it's not going to be difficult. You have to get in there, and by the grace of God, we said God is able to keep you. You're supposed to allow God to keep you in that marriage. You are not supposed to divorce except it be for some kind of transgression, the person that committed adultery, according to the Bible, or the person dies. Other than that, you need to look at that man real good, look at that woman real good, and say, are you somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with? Do I want to spend...
Can I put a... Go ahead.
So those are times, Bishop, when you examine it. But once you get into it, you're really pretty much stuck. So you need to make good of the stuckness. You need to make good of that stuckness.
I just want to add a caveat. Dr. Owens said, and I agree with that, you want to look at the person and say, now, is this somebody I really want to live forever with? I would put a little caveat on top of that and say as well, you need to look at that person and say, is this the person that I want to suffer alongside of for the rest of my life? No, really. So when you take it to that point, then you done answered every question the devil will ever throw at you, if you're willing. Matter of fact, Jesus says that to us. Are you willing to suffer with me? If you are, you'll reign with me. It's really the same thing. I am committing myself to you, as we see in the vows, for better or for worse. Not just for better only, because if it's only for better, better don't last always. You got to have some better and worse, because in the worst is when you are being made. In the worst, you are being shaped. Matter of fact, in the worst, your marriage gets stronger. In the worst. So when things get hard, do you leave? Or else she gets sick, or she has to have a procedure, or you get sick, and so then what do? Well, I committed. I went into this thing for the long run, no matter what shakes down. Now, I agree about abuse. If there's physical abuse and all of that goes along with that, that's a whole nother picture. That's another thing. But, amen, it is very rare that you have physical abuse in the courtship. Y'all don't go to dinner and he beat you up. Why quiet in here, Dr.
Because you got some crazies out there.
I understand.
And they will. They don't care. They know the man didn't hit you in the courtship, and you still want to marry him.
Right.
I just think we need to get together, and once we get together, I could really help him. And you got one eye, then beat you in one eye, and you can't hardly see who he is. And I just believe that by faith, amen, once we get married, things going to change. If things don't change in that courtship, you better not look for it to change after you get married. No. That's why so much quietness. Some of them, they don't care, Bishop. They want the man.
Regardless of it.
Regardless, right? Amen.
Oh, God help us now.
They like, I'm going to just toughen myself up.
Well, they surely will get what they reap.
You do not have to be that desperate.
No.
You do not have to be that desperate. Come on. You've got a heavenly Father that loves you more than him, so wait till God give you somebody that's going to appreciate you, love you, and respect you for who you are. No,